At 8:30 on a Sunday morning, Zurich still has trams, church bells, and coffee. What it may not have is your usual supermarket. A visitor can walk past one locked door after another and wonder if the city forgot to wake up. It did not. Sunday is awake. It is simply running on a different set of permissions. The trains move, hikers head toward the hills, restaurants begin setting tables. It does not mean nobody works. Hospitals do not close. Hotels still welcome guests. Trains still need drivers. But much of ordinary commerce pauses, apartment buildings seem to lower their voices, and the weekly rush loses some of its authority. Why does one of Europe's wealthiest economies deliberately make a day less convenient? The answer is not a single tradition or a charming mountain custom. It is a layered system of labor law, local rules, shared spaces, and an old idea that still survives modern pressure, sometimes should be difficult to buy. Under Switzerland's Federal Labor Act, Sunday work is generally restricted. For most covered employees, the protected period runs from 11 on Saturday night until 11 on Sunday night. The wider weekly rest period is designed to provide 35 consecutive hours away from work. That restaurants, bakeries, kiosks, campsites, broadcasters, and other necessary or travel-related businesses can fall under exemptions. Temporary or regular Sunday work may also require official permission depending on the industry and circumstances. The point is not to freeze the country. It is to make Sunday work the exception that needs a reason instead of the default that needs no explanation. Retail makes this difference visible. Switzerland Tourism tells visitors that many shops close on Sundays, while stores at railway stations, airports, and petrol stations often remain open. So, a large station can feel like a small island of Monday surrounded by Sunday. In the canton of Zurich, municipalities may currently designate no more than 4 Sundays a year for permit-free Sunday sales. That detail matters. The quiet is not just a mood created by people deciding to stay home. Part of it is built into the calendar. This is where the usual internet version becomes misleading. A Swiss Sunday is not a nationwide curfew. Cafes can be busy. Museum doors open, ski lifts run, football matches fill stadiums. Trains carry families, visitors, and muddy boots in every direction. In cities, station shops can be crowded precisely because so many other doors are closed. The day is active, but the activity changes shape. There is less routine shopping and more movement without errands attached to it. A walk does not need to end in a mall. A train journey does not have to be a commute. Lunch can occupy the middle of the day without being squeezed between 2 tasks. And on several Sundays each year, Switzerland does something especially serious. It votes. The official federal voting calendar places national voting days on Sundays. Ballots are often mailed in advance, but the public result still arrives on a day associated with shared time. That is a useful clue. Sunday is not simply an empty space. It is a space reserved for activities that do not fit neatly inside the working week. Then there is the part foreigners hear about first: noise. Stories circulate about neighbors objecting to vacuum cleaners, recycling, lawnmowers, or washing machines on Sunday. Some of those stories are real. The conclusion people draw from them is often wrong. There is no single Swiss rule that says every washing machine in the country must remain silent for 24 hours. Noise rules vary by canton and municipality. Rental contracts and building regulations can add their own limits. Shared laundry rooms may operate with booking schedules, written laundry rules, or agreements made by the residents themselves. In Zurich, for example, the city's general nighttime quiet period is listed as 10 at night until 7 in the morning. That is not the same as a total Sunday ban. Inside a rented building, however, the house rules may be more restrictive. The Swiss Real Estate Association's model rules tell tenants to use laundry facilities according to the building's specific laundry schedule. So, the famous Sunday laundry conflict is less about a secret national commandment and more about living close to other people. A washing machine in a basement may be harmless. The same machine beneath a neighbor's bedroom may become the loudest political issue in the building. The practical rule is simple: check the contract, check the house rules, and notice what the building has agreed to. Switzerland is highly federal, and apparently so is the spin cycle. Closed doors create friction. You need to remember the milk on Saturday. You cannot assume every unfinished errand can be pushed into Sunday. The fridge becomes a planning tool with opinions. That inconvenience is real. It can be especially difficult for shift workers, parents with crowded schedules, newcomers, and anyone who arrives home late on Saturday. Romantic descriptions of a peaceful Sunday often forget the workers whose free time does not follow a Monday to Friday pattern. Still, the inconvenience produces something unusual: coordination. When many people pause at roughly the same time, rest becomes easier to share. A free afternoon is less fragile when fewer employers, deliveries, appointments, and shopping expectations compete for it. The system does not guarantee a happy family lunch or a perfect walk in the mountains. It simply removes some of the forces that would otherwise interrupt them. Switzerland's State Secretariat for Economic Affairs explains working time protections partly in terms of health and social life. Sunday rest is not presented only as religious tradition. It is also worker protection, recovery that arrives on the calendar before exhaustion has to request it. This may be the most important difference between personal rest and protected rest. Personal rest depends on willpower. Protected rest changes the environment around you. Not everyone agrees that the balance is right. Online shopping does not close on Sunday. Tourism runs all weekend. People with irregular jobs may prefer the freedom to shop whenever they are available. Retailers argue that physical shops compete with businesses that never switch off. That disagreement reached the Swiss parliament again in 2026. A proposal would have allowed cantons to authorize up to 12 permit-free Sunday shopping days each year instead of 4. In June, the Council of States rejected moving forward by the narrowest kind of political margin, 22 votes to 21 with 1 abstention. Supporters saw flexibility and a way for retail to compete. Opponents emphasized workers, families, and Sunday as a shared day of rest. The unusual part was not that Switzerland debated convenience. Every modern country does. The unusual part was how clearly the debate exposed the price of convenience. An open shop gives customers another option. It also requires someone else's Sunday to become a workday. There is no perfect answer hidden in the Alps. The law contains exceptions because society needs care, transport, food, hospitality, and emergency services every day. Customs also change. Some apartment buildings permit Sunday laundry. Some residents dislike the restrictions. City life and village life are not interchangeable. The Swiss system is interesting because it does not erase those tensions. It makes them visible. You do not need closed shops or a neighbor with excellent hearing to borrow the best part of a Swiss Sunday. Choose a block of time that cannot quietly turn back into work. Buy what you need before it begins. Decide which notifications, errands, and household tasks are allowed inside. Make the boundary visible to the people around you. The goal is not to perform a perfect slow life. It is to stop negotiating with every hour. That is what Switzerland's quieter Sunday reveals. Rest becomes more dependable when it is supported by rules, habits, and other people. A protected pause may feel inconvenient from the outside because convenience is exactly what it limits. On Monday, the doors open again, trams fill with commuters, deliveries arrive, the washing machines return to diplomacy. But for one day, the week has a shoreline. If you enjoy finding the quiet logic behind ordinary life, subscribe to Quiet Alpine Ways. Mila will be waiting at the next small detail, probably 5 minutes early.